regulation came in and made that restrictive or limited the amount or outright outlawed it, you're going to have a flood of midterm rentals uh, or people getting out
Yeah.
altogether. So in the areas where we're at, it's still working out for us.
Welcome to the Term Coops Podcast, your go-to source for expert insights and tips in the world of short-term rental investments. Join us as we explore strategies and stories that lead to success in the fast-growing short-term rental market. Get ready for some in-depth interviews, industry trends, and valuable advice to elevate your short-term rental portfolio. Subscribe now and stay ahead of the game with Short-Term Coops. Let's go.
I'm Dave, your host today, and Michael Perreira, my guest, is a seasoned pro with a wealth of knowledge and insights to share. Together, we'll explore his journey, uncover top strategies, and equip you with the knowledge you need to excel in the world of short-term rentals. Welcome to the podcast, Mike. Thanks for being a part of the first episode.
Oh, Joe, so good to catch up with you, man. Good to see you. Love what you're doing. Sharing the word and helping people out. This is great.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been a long time since we got to connect, and you're part of my inspiration to get involved with real estate and short-term rentals. So I can't wait for you to share that with more people today.
Yeah, let's bounce some ideas off each other. This is fun.
Yeah, awesome. So I guess to kick things off, can you just kind of tell us about your real estate journey? What's your portfolio look like? What led you to short-term rentals?
Yeah, we could take you through that. So my real estate journey started actually with a thud, with a strikeout, if you may. I was part. I think you could have timed the 2008 crash with the day I closed on my very first property.
Wow.
That was a learning experience. I came home from college, and trying to save up money to break into real estate, buy a house, and the houses were going up $10,000 a month, and I was only saving like 2,500 a month. I was like, this isn't gonna work. So I got in, and they say location's everything, and boy, are they right. I got in where I could get in, which wasn't a great area. In fact, I saw my neighborhood on Gang Wars show later as I was
That's
sitting in my house watching the park in my neighborhood. I'm like, this can't be good.
that's
Um,
crazy. So it
you
was like a house hack.
Yeah, well, yeah, it turned into that. I was going to buy it, and then as the market went up, I thought my house would go up with it, and I'd be able to save on the side and rent out the rooms. I did end up renting out the rooms, but it all came crashing down right after I bought it. Um, I stayed with it, worked on it, got 3 jobs to pay for it, and it was such a mess at the time. My loan was with Countrywide Mortgage. They went under. Bank of America picked them up. I don't know if I'm allowed to say their names. We'll say Big Red picked them up,
Yeah,
and they lost my loan and everything that went with it, payments, everything. Long story short is, you know, even though I was keeping up with my payments and everything, I had a cash for keys scenario where I ended up with a short sale, got to get out of that house. Um, but when all the mix up happened, it went from a short sale to a foreclosure. So the next 7 years of my life was trying to figure out a way to get into real estate and use partnerships or use hard money any way I could because I knew, um, although it was a strikeout on the first attempt, I knew that real estate had to be a part of my portfolio going forward for financial freedom. Um, and yeah, that's how we kicked off, man. Now I'm at 28 doors and 24 properties. Um, and I should say we, because I have a few partners. I have a partner in life, my wife and kids now, and then I have a partner that we started investing together, Ricky, who's been a great partner with me and kind of pushed us to go into the short-term rental field. Um, so today we are at 28 doors, 24 properties across 3 states. So we're in Arizona, South Carolina, and California. Um, and we're about a 50-50 mix between long-term rentals and short-term rentals. I guess I should say 40-40-20 because a few of our short-term rentals are now mid-term rentals due to regulation
Okay.
changes and short-term rental laws. So we had to adjust a little bit, but yeah. So we have a good mix of long-term and short-term.
Yeah, that's awesome. How was the transition from short term to midterm? Is that still working out for you? Is it still
Yeah,
profitable? Like, we see all the stuff
it
in New York
is.
City, right? And just banning
Yeah,
Airbnbs. So curious how that transition worked
yeah.
out for you guys.
It's it's location based, right? So if you're in a location that had a high amount of short-term rentals, and regulation came in and made that restrictive or limited the amount or outright outlawed it, you're going to have a flood of midterm rentals, um, or people getting out
Yeah.
altogether. So in the areas where we're at, it's still working out for us because we're kind of on the fringe of Charleston, and the beach communities, and uh, some nearby areas still allow Airbnb, while our communities had outlawed it. So there isn't a flood of midterm rentals in the area. We're still positioned well, and you go a crazy amount of return, um, to a modest return, but still well above what you would do as a long-term rental. So
So
we're
it's
still,
still
we're still,
working out of
yeah,
still cash flow positive.
yeah,
Good
we're still
news.
happy to keep it. Still good to have it in our portfolio. So
Cool. I guess with that being said, do you have a most memorable experience from your time in short term or midterm rentals?
yeah, so it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, my experience. But in the world of short-term rental, we had a neighbor kind of partner who had a short-term rental, and and just kind of the horror story that you hear. We got to see it kind of act out in real life. And he had a squatter. Someone came in, squatted there. He had to cancel all his future rentals. And then that squatter actually built a rental portfolio and started renting it out on Airbnb.
No way.
And so, yeah, and so it was you hear about the stories, but to see it happen is, it takes you back a little bit that number one, people can be that corrupt. But number two, that you have to have, backup plans and contingencies and an emergency fund for situations of bad actors because they're out there. But that's a negative that sticks in my head. Um,
Was that
there's
in
lots of
South
lots of
Carolina?
that was out here in Central Valley, California,
California.
actually.
Yeah, I could see
Yeah,
evictions, I would
yeah,
think, would be a little bit harder in California than some other states.
they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, location based, but yeah, California. He got to stay in there for 6 months, I believe.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's a tough one to see firsthand.
Yeah, I bet. Guys, hope you're enjoying the show so far. I just wanted to pop in real quick to say thanks for watching. Please give me a big like, subscribe. It helps us grow this channel tremendously. And hey, if you have a cabin out in the Smokies, you're thinking about getting a cabin, reach out to us at shorttermcoops.com. or email me personally, Joseph at shorttermcoops.com. Back to the show. Thanks, guys. Well, hey, in the markets you operate in, I know you talked about switching to midterm. Are there any other trends you're seeing around STRs? And I guess are all of your STRs in Charleston, or do you have some in the other markets as well?
No, we have some in the Central Valley. We have some in Phoenix, Arizona, and then the
Nice.
rest are Charleston area. Um, and yeah, the trend I'm seeing is before, meaning before 20, probably before the pandemic, um, you could buy a track home, and do
Mhm.
pretty successful with Airbnb. Um, but it's become a lot more competitive.
Yeah.
Um, you have to have a differentiating product now. Um, the regulations are still shaking out, and it's a lot more likely that a residential neighborhood will not allow it or not be excited about having it and give you issues than a traditional destination or something where you have some separation between you and a neighbor. So I'm seeing that middle part taken out of the market, um, where you could just buy a regular, uh,
Yeah.
track home and be successful. So I feel like as I watch Airbnb and listen to their earnings, they've customized their app to experiences, right? Now you can filter to
Hmm.
lake houses. Now you can filter to tree houses. Now you can filter to stargazing or whatever. So it's going more towards unique experiences and less um, the cookie cutter house. And although that fills a need, especially in an area where we're at, where they have soccer tournaments and conferences and whole families will come up and stay at your house, that's kind of being taken out of the market. And now it's going back to its roots. I think the CEO of Airbnb just like rented a room at his house, right,
Yeah.
for marketing and publicity. And it's going more towards that barbell economy where you're renting out a room or the other side of your duplex to make it work, or you have a really unique experience, or you're in a national park or somewhere where vacation rentals are the norm. Um, so I see it going back to that.
Yeah. God, I'm glad you
At
brought that
least,
up. I'm seeing a lot of that out here as well, where design's
yeah,
playing more and more of a role. And then, yeah, Brian Chesky has his own room. I thought that was cool. I kind of wanted to see if I could book it and talk with him a little bit. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
good.
that's
But
cool. But yeah, it's
rooms,
going more back to his roots. Yeah.
yeah, rooms isn't something I think I'm going to get into just yet, but it's definitely an interesting concept. I
Yeah.
think if we do see the economy turn, uh, it'd be a great way to go too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough because it's a product that not everybody can do, right? Like if you have young kids or a family or I have a stay-at-home wife and right now with a 6-week old, if I go away to
Yep.
work and do I feel comfortable renting out a room in the house? No, you know. So it's not for everyone, but it's definitely if you're young and up and coming and just trying to, create some income and learn the product,
Hmm.
that's a great way to learn it.
Yeah, I think so. There's a couple of people in the Airbnb community group that's ready to do rooms. The other community leader,
Mhm.
actually, she does. And she likes doing it. She likes meeting people, but it definitely suits her. She's
Yeah,
retired, so she can spend that time with the people. She likes doing it. Um,
I did that for a little bit doing Uber, not having them
Yeah,
stay in my house, but driving them around in
yeah,
LA. Yeah, that was an interesting, time in my life before I had family and kids and had a lot of extra time. So
yeah. I bet we need to do another podcast of just BSing about that kind of stuff one day, maybe.
yeah, yeah, the house hacking, life hacking, secret shops, and thorough. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like the jack of side hustles for sure.
Uh, well, I think you gotta make it work, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so you're in 3 different states. You're literally coast to coast. How do you know the
Nice.
upkeep and maintenance that goes on with, I mean, not just a rental property, but short-term rental? These houses get a lot more use and abuse and supplies. So
Yeah,
curious how you manage all that
yeah,
being remote.
that's yeah, that's great. It's less remote than you would think because we have great people on the ground. So I think the number one like thing is finding great partners or great people. So I have fantastic partners. I mentioned him earlier. Ricky kind of pushed me out of the long-term rental game and into the short-term rental game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a steady Eddie. How many properties can we get that cash flow $400 a month?
Sure.
He's more like, I see this need, I see this opportunity. Let's put them together. So he moved out to Charleston. We have a great friend out there, Maggie. She's our property managers out there now. Um, and they kind of help build it from the ground up. So although yes, it is remote, we have fantastic people on the ground. Um, and
What does your
really
team
put a
look
great
like?
team together.
What does it look like in that market then? Is it a cleaner handyman, or do you have other people?
Yeah, so now we have Maggie runs, the properties out there as a property manager, customer experience, and like a cleaning coordinator. We ended up bringing on our own cleaning crew because I think that as far as customer experience goes of the actual end product, that's that's probably your key piece. Like Megan is
Yeah.
the key piece behind the scenes for the customer experience in chat and in setting up expectations and checking out. But the cleaners are the key piece for us in, hey, there's missing product at the location. Um, hey, here's, the sheets are getting pretty worn and damaged. This is, an issue we're seeing at the house. And so those cleaners are like the boots on the ground that really let us stay on top of it. Um, so
Yeah.
that we have a cleaner, we have a handyman or several, because in the middle of the night, who knows who's going to pick up. So
Right.
we have a couple of handymen, we have our cleaning crew, and then we have Meg, who manages the operation in Charleston. And that's been really good. Yeah.
That's awesome. You were able to take your cleaning crew in-house. Was there a certain number of properties you got to where that made sense at scale, or did you do that from the
Yeah,
beginning?
yeah. No, we did not do that from the beginning. We were kind of side hustling and putting out ads and who can do this, as a side gig. Um, Once we got to spending around 2,500 a month and cleaning in the area, we were thinking, okay, how can we start to bring this in-house and add additional houses so that the scale would make sense. And then
Mhm.
also in a slow season or worst case scenario, we're able to shift and actually hire out those cleaners if we don't have the business, and keep their income going. Less of an income generator for us, but more to keep the cleaners busy and happy and well paid. And
That's an
so
awesome idea.
that's really been.
That's it.
Yeah, because some areas around the country, you're going to be super busy in a season, and then you're going to
Mhm.
be dead in another season, and that's when you risk people leaving
Yeah, I
your
love that idea.
organization. And so,
How do
yeah, so
you
we're able to do like a
manage
hybrid
that
approach.
piece? Yeah, are you on like Turno or one of the apps for people to find your cleaners? Or are you just advertising the
Uh,
services kind of as needed when your slow seasons come?
yeah, advertising. Yeah, advertising the service as needed. We have a couple of good partners out there. You get to know the community of
Mhm.
short-term rental, and so we'll be able to flex up and help them out with good rates, and they know our people do great work. So we have like a loyal fan base, so to speak.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, our friend Ricardo kind of handles the people piece there with Meggie and organizing all that. But yeah, come winter months, that's our slow season. So we'll try and get, some month-to-month rentals in there from insurance companies and whatnot to offset the slow season, um, and then we'll contract out our cleaners to keep them busy.
yeah, you guys are super diverse. That's so cool. Moving on to like tools and resources, how have those evolved as you're portfolio's grown too. Are there any special tools that you
Ah,
use to help streamline your business?
yeah, I think one is more of an experience piece for our customers. They're expecting more and more than just a regular 3 bed, 2 bath house that you walk in,
Hmm.
right? So Ricardo found a piece that's called Guest View, and it's a beautiful like entryway touch screen experience, and it allows. Of course, we get the feedback from Airbnb or any other portal, but sometimes they want to leave feedback off of that platform. And so Guest View allows them to leave us personalized feedback that doesn't go on the Airbnb platform. Maybe they had a great experience with us, with Maggie, with the property, but they wanted to call something out and they didn't want to necessarily hurt us or whatever. So Guest View allows them to give us personalized feedback. Hey, it would be great if you had this in the future.
Yeah,
Um, but also, it's not just one way. It allows us to give them updates. Think about what you want to know when you go see a new market. What are the best places to eat? What are the local um, uh, attractions, so to speak. And so Guest View will kind of show you what are the top restaurants rated by the guests that have stayed here.
yeah,
And it has different things kind of streaming through there, different places to visit, what your interests are. So it's a really cool interactive product that allows you to connect with your customer in a unique way that's different than every other Airbnb
and so it's kind of like a digital
or even
guidebook,
hotel.
right? But it's mounted on like the wall at your property, or is it an app that the guests
Yeah,
choose?
it's mounted.
Okay,
It's like a larger iPad. Um, as soon as you walk in, it's on a wall, and it has your check-in information. Will digitally reset, your entry codes. Um, it does a lot of really unique things, and I see even more stuff coming in the future that it could do. But
yeah,
it's cool. Shows lots of cool pictures posted and really helps give the customer a great experience.
yeah. I'll have to check that one out. I stayed in an Airbnb in Hocking Hills, which is a state park in Ohio, and they had a similar like iPad mounted
Hmm.
to the wall. I don't think it was guest view, but it was a really neat experience. And it sounds like yours has even more features than the one I got to check out. But I
Yeah,
think, yeah, that guidebook
there's
is
lots of
definitely
innovation
essential.
coming.
I know the
Yeah,
software
yeah,
AI is just changing everything too.
that's
And
right.
neat.
That's right.
Um, so with that, is that kind of like your approach to guest satisfaction, or do you have other stuff you guys do to help maintain your reviews?
Yeah, I think one cool thing that having your own manager in place, for your own properties once you hit scale. Maggie, who I talked about earlier, uh, when she sees gaps in the properties as far as open availability, she'll go stay 2 nights in a property on
Yeah,
rotation. And by doing that, she's able to see firsthand, you know, oh, this shower head is leaking,
like,
or
yep,
something that our cleaner team might not pick up. Oh, our screen door in the back has a rip in it. Uh, and it allows her to share with us, what products are getting out of date. When do we need to start thinking about couch replacement, capital expenditures, new beds? Um, and yeah, so for instance, she stayed at our lake house, came in, and we have 3 lake houses on the same lake. And in all 3 of them, she found scuff marks from luggage and boots and whatever along the entryway. So we got some fresh paint in there, and she put some bumper plates in there that were scuff
right.
resistant, and it just helps it look bright, clean, um, and it's something that you might not notice or can't handle as a cleaning team. So it just gives you fresh eyes. and a firsthand experience when you're staying in it. So if you have a short-term rental and you haven't stayed in it in the last, 2, 3 years, you might be missing something.
Yeah, for sure. That's
So,
a great best practice.
spend a night or two in there and get the experience. See how you can make it better.
I think getting that, eyes on the property is so important. It's awesome that she
Hmm.
can spend some time there too. And she gets to stay at the lake
Yeah,
house. So it doesn't sound like it's all bad for her
it's not.
either.
That's not a bad job. It's not a bad job to wake up, have a coffee on the deck in the morning.
Yeah, that working hard.
Yeah.
Cool. So where do you see short-term rentals heading in the coming years?
Yeah. So I see a lot of, um, let's say micro shares, I guess would be the term. Arrived is doing that here. Company here is doing that. Picasso is doing that. So they'll sell, shares of a property and have several thousand shares. So if you're
Oh,
wanting to do it remotely, it's a company called Arrived or Here. Um, they're and they're in the major markets, but they're pretty much a startup in the last year or so, 2 years. Uh,
okay.
and so if you want to try out Scottsdale, but you don't have $1.2 million, Arrived will sell you shares of, increments of $100 for a $1.2 million property that they manage.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
now you're going to get to own in the upside. You have ownership in the property. So you're going to get appreciation. You're going to get depreciation. You're going to get the monthly dividend. Now you're paying a premium in management fee and markup, but it allows you to test markets without diving all in. So I think if you're a busy professional and you love what you do, you can invest through micro shares like that with Arrived or Here.
Yeah.
Um, or if you're like you and me and hey, I want to break into, I don't know, the Blue Ridge Mountain area
Yeah.
or Tennessee. All right. Which do I want to go to? You could buy a couple shares in each and see the actual data that comes back. What's the occupancy? What's the average rate? And now you just have more data and more power, more information to make an informed decision of where you want to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like how you're looking at it too. It's like just another tool to inspect the market. I
Yeah,
wouldn't have even thought of it that way.
yeah, yeah. And they already have the boots on the ground and so to speak, because that's the hardest part.
Yeah,
And so
definitely building that team is
before you,
tough.
yeah, yeah. So before you make that decision, it'd be good to have all the data you can.
Yeah, really cool.
Mhm.
So I love to hear your best advice for any current or potential future short-term rental investor.
Yeah. You know, there's so much knowledge and education you can get out there. I recommend Bigger Pockets and some of the courses you can get, almost a full degree on YouTube. But educating yourself, um, whether it's taxes or how do you operate from a distance or how do you test a new market before you go in, um, all that education is out there. And I think you can get yourself a good head start by reviewing a lot of that stuff through, yeah, like I said, through the community of Bigger Pockets, through your own meetup groups, get a mentor. But education in the field is probably number one. And then the second one is get a great partner. If you're too scared to jump in, I was busy hitting singles every time, which is good with the
Yeah,
long-term rentals. But I had a friend or a couple of them that have pushed me now, to the short-term rental market. And, we're better for it. We get to talk more often now. We get to visit more places now, and the financial returns have been better. So there's still a place in the portfolio for long-term rentals, with all the shakeup and regulations. But yeah, get yourself a good partner, and you could break into those short-term rental markets.
Yeah, I think partnerships are super helpful. I know. I think you're like me. We want to try and do everything ourselves, right? Figure it out. But since getting a business partner myself, which has been a game changer, and they help keep you accountable too to what you say you're going to do, right? Rather, it's a lot harder to
Yeah,
procrastinate when
I
you got someone else
yeah.
depending on you as well.
I mean, part of it is, Ricardo and I, we went to college together. We played soccer as kids together. I mean, from 7 years old until 25. And then we
Well,
graduated. We didn't talk again for a decade, right? Until we're 35. And then it's
yeah.
like, why did we go this long? So we started buying houses together. Now we have to talk to each other. Now we have to
There
go
you
see
go.
each other.
You keep
Yeah, like,
friendships together
yeah.
too. That's a good point.
Yeah, like if you go into it with eyes open, it could be a great thing. And it just, I'm talking to you again, and I'm really enjoying our time chatting. But real estate can do that for us, and you could do it long term, and as the market changes, you guys just adjust, and it's fun to do it with someone.
Yeah, it is. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Is there any last things you wanted to share you didn't get a chance to, or if someone wants to reach out to you because they got properties in your area or looking for help, a good way for them to
Yeah,
contact?
just reach out Michael Perreira on LinkedIn, and you'll find me there. But no, I mean, any questions anytime you want to chat, financial independence, I'm all about it. So all the life hacks. But real estate's definitely a primary way to do what you want, when you want, where you want, with who you want, in life. So I'm here, my 6-week-old daughter, and we just went up to see her great grandma, who's unfortunately gotten ill, and we wouldn't be able to do that if we were in the 9 to 5 grind, right? And real estate allows us to kind of take that step back and enjoy the relationships and the things that really matter in life. And so, um, you got to take that first step, and once you get going, it frees up a lot of your time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks for spending your time today, Mike. Really appreciate you
Oh
hopping
yeah,
on, sharing all your insights. Some old stories I forgot about that I enjoyed, and some new ones I don't think I ever got to hear before. So, really appreciate that.
yeah,
And
of
then,
course. Let's keep chatting, and we'll get through this and get better each day.
yeah, we'll keep in touch. And then, lastly, for the viewers, we can get that like and subscribe as always on the channel. Of course, helps us out, helps spread the word. Uh, Thanks again, Mike, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right, buddy.